the QRIS Compendium data entry system. This video is intended to be a short tutorial to show you how to use the data system and enter data about your state. I'll be walking through how to log in, how to navigate to your profile, the categories of information that you'll be entering and reviewing, the types of questions we have in our data entry system, how to save information, and what to do if you encounter any technical problem. The first thing that I'm going to do is log on as a test state with my ID and password. Your ID and password will be sent to you by the person who will be collecting data for your state. Once I log in, I can see a panel with a couple different options of places to go. The place that you're going to go to get to your QRIS profile is this Modify panel, and you're going to click on Entry. That should bring you to this screen, and you'll see one option to click on. Here where it says Test, on your login information, it will say the name of your state or locality. If I click on Test, that brings me to the actual profile. You'll notice that the data in this profile and in this data entry system is saved in a categorical and tabular format. So these are all of the categories that we're collecting for each QRIS profile, and you'll be entering information by clicking through each of these categories. As was mentioned in the email that you received in the data collection manual, we will attempt to populate as much information as we can into this data entry system and your profile prior to sending it to you. So we are primarily looking for you to do two things. One, to review the information that we have entered. We have tried to make sure that the information that we have entered is correct in all cases, but we know that we probably have made some errors, or you have more recent information than we were able to find online, and we're hoping you'll review our information and correct it as necessary. And we're also hoping that you will enter any new information that we were not able to find. Typically, we're able to find a lot of information about indicators for both centers and family child care, and also a good amount of information for program information in the Program Information tab and in the Rating tab. For some of these other tabs in the middle, we frequently are not able to find information on the internet. If you have information about any of these categories that you would like to send us, you can certainly feel free to do that, and we will enter that information for you. Otherwise, you can enter that information directly yourself. So starting with the first tab here, that is the Program Information tab. In this tab, we'll be collecting very basic information about your QRIS and your participation for programs and the numbers of programs that are participating. And in this tab, you can see that there are a couple different types of questions that we have. The most simple type is a plain text box that you see here in QRIS name and website. This is just a place for you to enter or for us to enter basic text. The second type of question is a basic drop-down. These only appear a few times in the profile. Here we'll select an example state, and that's typical of any online survey that you would see. The third question type that we have is a check all that apply. Although some of the check all that apply questions are ones that really should be mutually exclusive, we have left it up to you to check as many as you want. And if we see one that should be mutually exclusive that's not, we will follow up on that information in the interview process. You'll notice that a lot of these categorical check all that apply data elements and questions have a follow-up text box for you to enter information. This text box primarily pertains to the Other Describe. So if you clicked Other and Describe for service area, we would ask you to describe in the text box below what the service area for your QRIS is. And while this is primarily intended to be used to follow up on an Other Describe, you can also put any additional information in this text box that you think pertains to this element above. Down here you can see what the next type of data element, and that's what we call a grid. Now, a grid takes a number of different data elements and questions and groups them together in one sort of table. And there are different types of grids within this data entry system. If I click on this first one, I can add data by clicking here, add some data, and that will bring up a row of data. Here I can enter a date being year, month and year. If you have a specific day that you need to enter or can enter, that's great too. And here I can provide a text description. Down here you can see that in this grid I can indicate any pilot that's been going on in my state. So here I could say, yes, you completed a pilot. This actually pops up a date for me. If you don't know the exact date, so if you knew it was in April of 2014, but you didn't know the exact date, you can default to 1, and we'll just be listing months and years on the front end of the website. And here you could list another date as well. Some of the grids, you'll notice this one just allows for entering one pilot. Some of the grids allow for entering more than one row of information. So if you have more than one overall management organization or agency, you could type that here, say what it is, the state agency, and if you wanted to describe, just as it with the other describe box up here, many of the grids have other describe text fields embedded within them. If your state has another managing organization, you can add that organization by adding a row here, and that will populate or bring up a new row for you. If this row is added in error, you can erase it by clicking on this X. You see down here, here's another grid type, QRIS participation. In here, we'll ask you to list any type of program that you have. So if you have licensed centers participating in your QRIS and licensed family child care, Head Start programs, and maybe some other type of program, you would select all of those and then indicate the type of participation they have, whether it's voluntary or mandatory. So that gives you a general sense of some of the different question types here. At the bottom of each section, there will be a general catch-all text box where you can add any additional information that you think is pertinent to that category of information. Now, there are 12 categories altogether, and once you finish one tab, you can move on to the next one and review that and add data as necessary. This is the rating tab that has a lot of information about the process that programs follow to get rated. And as you can see from up top, we also have categories of information related to funding, financial incentives, on-site assistance or quality improvement, observation tools, evaluation, public awareness, data systems, partnerships, and indicators for both centers and family child care. To save information, down at the bottom of each tab, there is a Submit button. By clicking Submit, you will save your information in that tab, so any information that you added, and then it will bring you back to the top of that tab of information. For categories that have quite a few data elements and questions, we recommend that you click the Submit button a couple times in terms of saving up your data frequently. That will ensure that you don't lose any information that you've entered. The tabs that have particularly quite a few data elements are program information, rating, and then the 2 indicators tabs right here. Some of these other tabs, like on-site assistance, have far fewer elements. You can log on as many times as you want to enter information. If you do have multiple people logged on with the same credentials, the same username and password, you will potentially have some slowness and irregularity to the website. If someone's saving a profile and they save right before you, there's a chance that you might lose the information that you've entered. So we do recommend that you only have one person logged into your state's profile at any given time. Once we're all done with this process, we will continue to add information on both of our sides. We'll add the initial information, and then we'll send this to you to add information. Then we will have our interview in which we will discuss anything that needs clarity or any pieces of information that are missing. Following the interview, we'll ask you to go on and follow up on any data elements that appear to be outstanding issues that came up during in the interview. And at that point, we will enter that information and we will ask you to review the profiles one more time for correctness, and then at that point we'll consider the profile finalized and you'll be done. For any technical questions that occur with this website, you can contact me, Sarah Freese. I'm the project manager for the QRIS Compendium. If you've received emails from the QRIS Compendium Gmail account, you'll find my phone number and email address in the signature of that email. You can feel free to contact me at any time with any technical questions you have about entering data or any problems or errors you've encountered. Thank you.